Hey everyone, if you watched the intro video to this week, you'll know that we are talking about directions of attendancy, which is Dan Siegel's term describing the direction of attention that we tend to give our energy to, whether that's internal, external, or both at the same time, dyadic. And I talked about in that video how we all need to be able to focus internally, we need to be able to focus externally, and we need to be able to give our attention externally and internally at the same time. However, certain Enneagram numbers tend to lean one direction more strongly. And today we're going to be talking about the numbers that more strongly lean into the internal sense of attendancy. And those are numbers 1, 4, and 5. These numbers tend to primarily focus inward, emphasizing self-regulation, introspection, and their own internal standards. So let's walk through really quick what that looks like for each number. Enneagram 1s, they're directing their attention inward to regulate themselves according to their own sort of internal high standards. They focus on self-discipline, on responsibility, on being correct, on controlling themselves. And they are filtering experiences through their own internal lens of improvement and integrity. So Enneagram 1s, it's not that they don't focus externally ever. It's they do. Everybody does. But for the Enneagram 1, their main focus is internal. That is where most of their attention is going on a more regular basis. Enneagram 4s, they tend to focus inward on their own personal emotions, their own personal identity, their sense of meaning. 4s have a rich fantasy internal world that they go to. They are deeply introspective, and they use this inner world that they create and that they sort of explore to kind of define their own sense of uniqueness and their own identity. And so Enneagram 4s are heavily focused internally. They're directed, their attention, their energy goes internal way more than external. And then the last of the internal numbers is the Enneagram 5. Enneagram 5s tend to direct attention internally in order to gather knowledge and analyze information. They are pulling internally, but instead of the 4s with their emotions, 5s tend to be pulling internally for their thoughts. They detach from external distractions, detach from external relationships in order to kind of preserve their own intellectual and emotional energy. 5s are constantly looking at this sort of social battery or battery of their own energy that they have, wanting to make sure that it doesn't get overused. And so that's what this internal direction of attendancy being the main one that can look like for the 5. Yeah, so that's all three numbers, 1s, 4s, and 5s that tend to favor the internal direction of attendancy more so than the other ones. So yeah, let me know what you think. If this resonates with you, or if you know somebody who is a 1, a 4, or 5, and this makes sense to you, let me know. Let's talk about it. Thanks.